Hi everybody, it's Mark from Burton Bibles, bringing you another Bible review. Excited to bring you this one today. This is the brand new Good News Bible, the Youth Edition. And I was excited to get hold of a copy of this. I had seen this at the Christian Resources Together event over here in the UK in Derbyshire back in September of this year. And I saw a sample of it that they were showing there, and it looked absolutely fantastic. I was interested in it. I thought it was doing a good thing, and the Bible Society got in touch with me and asked if I would do a review for them. So I am doing this review. It's an impartial review of their new Good News Bible. They sent me out a Bible to look at, and so I'm delighted to bring you this review today. So I'm going to give you my thoughts on this Bible, just to before we get stuck into this Bible, what it is and what it's aimed to do and things like that. Let's just look at some simple dimensions. It's just under 9 inches tall, and it is just over 6.5 inches wide, and the depth is about 1.5 inches, just over 1.5 inches. It's a hardback, so it feels quite sturdy. And it has rounded page edges as well, which is always nice to see. So it's quite sturdy, quite durable, quite rugged. On the front it does say there are free videos and resources at the Bible Society website that go in conjunction with this Bible, and we'll talk a little bit more about them later on in the video, and I will put down some links to some useful websites and relevant websites that we will talk about in this video. So the Bible was produced by a partnership between the Youth for Christ organisation and the Bible Society. And the Bible, this particular edition, is aimed at young people. I would imagine it's aimed at children from maybe 10, 11, 12 through to 13 and 14. So, young teens and pre-teens alike. So the Bible is the Good News translation, which is a nice sort of thought-for-thought translation, sitting somewhere in the middle of that dynamic spectrum from word-for-word translations such as the King James or the ESV or the New American Standard Bible, and then over the right-hand side we have the more sort of paraphrased translations. The Good News Bible is more of a thought-for-thought, sort of a dynamic equivalence, sitting sort of comparable with the NIV and NLT and translations such as that. So it's a very readable translation, a very accessible translation. It brings the Bible into a sort of more accessible language for the youth of today, and that is what this Bible is completely from the ground up aimed to do. And I must stress that we're not looking at a study Bible here today. We're not looking at anything like that. We are looking at a Bible that is designed for young teens and pre-teens to get into, possibly newly saved, something like that. So if you're interested, and if you've got children or teenagers of your own, this is something that you might want to look at. I love the way this Bible takes you through it nice and gently. It doesn't presume anything, and that's a problem with Christendom today. We presume a lot of things. We presume that people know about the Bible. We presume that people know about Jesus and about God, whereas the reality is that a lot of people today don't know those things. So this book makes no assumptions. So it tells you you're holding the best-selling book of all time. Welcome to the Bible. So that's nice. And everything inside this Bible is aimed at engaging and holding the interest of a young person. And yes, the Word of God will do that anyway, I'm sure, and it is particularly helped when the translation and the wording and things like that are put in language that they can understand without being too paraphrased and being too sloppy with the translation. So it gives you some nice contents. It gives you a lot of sort of introductory helps in the beginning to help a young person approach the Bible, approach this edition. And then it tells you about the Old and the New Testament, and then in the back there is some articles on issues that will affect young people today, young teens and pre-teens as they're at school. They will be challenged on a lot of these issues. They will be exposed to a lot of these issues. And this Bible in the back has a series of articles regarding family. A lot of these articles come hand in hand with a video, a short film, and there will be links to those films. There are approximately 30 short videos, about 5 minutes each, that speak about the issues that are detailed in this Bible, just about the Bible, about God, about where the Bible's come from, about the issues that are raised in it. And it's very interesting. I've checked out a couple of them, and I think they're really well put together. So we have this nice little area here that you can fill in. So again, we're drawing young people in to get engaged with the scriptures, to get involved, and there's room for you to scribble down the names of some people who've impacted your life, a favourite Bible verse here which I really like, and then there are some other things that you can fill in, little lists, things that really matter to you. So it would be interesting to get the perspective of a young person on this Bible. It would really require them to put some thoughts down on paper, and that's what I really like about this particular edition. Getting young people to think about what they're reading and put something down on paper is really valuable. X marks the spot. So go ahead and draw an X across somewhere on the page that represents your relationship with God. So here we have God in the middle here. So just little things, little challenges that are really interesting and require some thought. Here's some where to put your meaningful moments. Why read the Bible? What is the Bible? How to use this Bible. And then it's always asking, this book is always asking questions which obviously demand a response and make young people think and put something down and come up with an answer. So it's inspiring that sort of question and answer involvement with the Word of God, which I really like about this. So it tells you how to use the Bible, so it's going to tell you what all these markings mean, page numbers, the book you're in, the chapter and verse, etc., etc. I really like this feature. So as we go into the Bible, you will, so for example, we're in the book of Joshua, it will tell you what books are this way in the Bible towards the beginning and what are the next books that way in the Bible, which is really useful for a young person who doesn't know the books of the Bible off by heart, like some of us, but needs some help navigating around the scriptures. So that's really thoughtful and really useful. So I like that. So it tells you how to use it. There's lots of creative things in this Bible. You can doodle things in there, whether you're asked to or whether it's just blank space for you to do so, you can do that. So that's tapping into a lot of the sort of trends these days of people like to doodle and they like to make notes. Favourite Bible verses, excellent, fantastic little addition. How to read the Bible. Read the Gospel of Mark. It's short, snappy and all about Jesus. Don't worry if you can't read it all in one go. I've been going through the Gospel of Mark with my eldest boy who's 8, and we've been using, this was before I got this Bible, and we've been going through that very Gospel, and here they recommend the same thing, which is really interesting, and I think that is a great place to start. The Gospel of Mark. So yes, and it's always directing you to any relevant videos that they have produced on the particular subject. And it's telling you, if you've only got 5 minutes, then pick a story from the Gospels or a psalm to focus on. If you've got 15 minutes, that's a good amount of time to go through a chapter of the Bible, verse by verse, for example, or read it several times and make more notes and things like that. And then if you've got 30 minutes, you can do a bit more involved. And it's guiding you and telling you what to do and how to go about it. It's just ideas. So rather than being presented with a Bible and not knowing where to read or how to read it and what you're looking to get out of it, this edition is bringing you gently through the subject of reading the scriptures as a young person. So we have, if we get into this, there's a bit of a timeline of the Bible story, which is again useful to get everything in some sort of context of why the books are arranged the way they are, etc., etc. There's a bit about how to become a Christian as well, which is useful if the person reading isn't actually saved. And we have a bit of a reading plan here, the New Christian's Reading Plan, which is just really nice touches to this Bible. Really like it. And then we get into the book. We have a bit of a book introduction. For example, here's Genesis, what you need to know, why read it, key characters, things for you to fill in. So that's really valuable. It's not just telling you, a very factual account of Genesis. It's being more creative in terms of, getting you to put something into it as well. And there's a bit of a timeline for the book, which is useful. And then we get into the text. I really like the text and the print. If we bring this up to the camera a bit more, you will see that it's a very nice font. It's a nice, clean, crisp digital font. There's not much ghosting from the page behind. It's certainly livable. And there's lots of nice blank spaces in the margins for you to make notes. Here we have God the Creator. There's a film about creation that you can go and have a look at. And there are some little references or rendering translation notes at the bottom as well, which is always nice to see. More examples of little things that you can get in the margin. For example, covenant. Search the Oxford Dictionary for the definition of covenant and write the definition here. That's useful. And then there's some little notes and some little things that you can do, which are, some of them are a little bit more unusual, like making a small altar, but it's making the person think about how God was dealing with people at this time and what was involved. We have these little creative things like, make a picture out of this sort of thing. But again, as people read the Bible, they might only be reading small bits, and then they might get bored, or their mind starts to wander. Well, this will probably bring them back, and they have a little break, and then they can carry on reading what they were reading. We're talking about 12, 13 year old kids here. We have several things that ask you to put something down on paper, like this, for example. Stop reading and pray for 1 minute. It doesn't matter what it's about, just talk to God. Little things like that are really cool. I really like that, where it's actually asking the person to think about spiritual things. Really good. So here we have, getting on through the book of Genesis, it says, write here what you see, smell, see, hear, taste and feel right at this moment. So again, it's asking for, we're dealing with the passage here where Esau is deceived and Isaac is deceived by the senses. And so this is quite useful, this is quite relevant, this is quite a practical little demonstration there. And then throughout the Bible, there's lots of things that are really nice and really productive and are worth doing. Every book gets an introduction, and every book has lots of little different things in the margin that gets you to provoke thought. Holy, what do you think that it means? What does someone else think it means? Now go and look up the definition. Just little things like that are really thought-provoking. Now I quite like that. So we haven't got time to go through everything in this Bible, but suffice to say, here's another one, mercy. This is a thought-provoking and engaging and a interesting edition of the Bible. The Good News translation, I don't want to discuss translation in the comments section. Yes, there are going to be people who disagree with this translation and so on and so forth. But what I am taking this Bible for is I'm taking it at its face value. I'm taking it as what it is designed and aimed to do, which is an accessible, readable edition of the Scriptures for a young person who is new to the Scriptures or perhaps newly saved and needs a bit of guidance and a bit of help reading the Scriptures and being engaged with it and being involved with it. And as an edition that sets out to do that, it is fantastically successful. I think you could give this to a young person, again, in that sort of age range. It's up to you to use your own discernment and own wisdom as to what sort of age person you feel this would be relevant for. Here's a good one. Circle your favourite passage on this page. I mean, that's just a good thing to do anyway, isn't it? Circle the favourite passage that you've read today. Just fantastic. It's up to you to who this Bible would be suitable for, perhaps, but I think that a lot of Christian parents who are wondering, what Bible they could give to their young person that wouldn't just get left on the bookshelf or gather dust under the bed, etc., etc. This is great. I genuinely think this would get read, it would get used, and yes, it is an edition that probably would only last them a year or two. A year or two of use, of going through this and marking it and writing in it, and it might get a bit dog-eared and a bit battered, and then they move on to something else. They move on to a more serious study Bible or something like that. But as an exercise and as something that will serve a purpose for the young person at that time, I think this is absolutely brilliant. The videos, which you can check out online as well, are interesting. It's young people. It's produced by these Youth for Christ, the Youth for Christ organisation. Check them out. I think they'd be perfect for young people to watch. Pray and never become discouraged. That's great. That's the widow and the judge. You see the persistence of appealing to the higher authority. Gifts. What are the gifts God has given you to use for His glory? Just little things like that. As we get into the New Testament, there's obviously more practical things for the Christian pathway. Make a list of prayer requests from other people. Things like that. These are really, really good. So I really like this edition. I think it's lovely. I think it's well produced. I think it's been well thought out and well designed, and I wish it success, and I pray for its success. And if you're looking for a Bible that is going to grab a young person's attention, I think you can look no further than this. It seems to be suitable for male and female. It's quite sort of universal in its appeal in that regard, and I think it would be well received. So that's the Good News Bible, the Youth Edition from the Bible Society. I'll put some links in the description, and I well recommend it for young people. So thanks for watching. I hope you found that informative and useful. God bless, and we'll catch up with you on another video soon. Thanks. Bye.